Hello, this is Mark Fritz. I am one of the circuit breaker auditors, and this training session will cover the guidelines for LEA and collaborative placements and the procedures for entering LEA and collaborative claims into the circuit breaker system. Today's training will cover guidelines for claiming these placements and include a demonstration adding placements for 2 students in the online claim system. As shown on this slide, LEA and collaborative placements are public placements. There are 2 rules of thumb regarding public placements. The extended school year placements must be claimed separately from the school year placements. And if the same LEA or collaborative provides extra services to a student attending their program, the cost of these services are added to the tuition and instructional cost. Note on 2B, if a different entity or the district staff provides extra services for a student who's attending your collaborative or LEA, these services should be claimed as supplemental, and these are based on state rates. Supplemental placements are covered in a separate training module. Remember, administrative fees and non-member fees are not reimbursable and should not be included in the claim. Our new claiming system has a placements page where the detailed claim info is entered. We will go over this during the claim system demonstration. There's a few important points to note when entering a placement for a student attending an LEA or collaborative. In addition to the service dates, you have to enter the number of days the student attended the program. The annual rate is the full cost of the program over 180 days for a school year placement. The annual rate will match the cost of the placement if the student attends the full school year. However, if a student attends less days, the claim will be prorated based on the number of days attended. So it's very important to enter the correct annual rate to ensure the claim matches your cost. We will review a student who attended a partial year program during our live demonstration. So now I'm going to go into our our test district, Pawnee. And in order to call up a student, you have to hit Add Students on this bar. And that's going to bring up all the student claims that are in Pawnee's system at this point. So the first student we want to update is Ron Weasley. This will display the student claim page for Ron Weasley. As you can see right now, there are no costs that are in his claim and no placements if you scroll down below. But we're going to go to the placements page. And on the left-hand side, you can see there are 8 placement types. Out-of-district LEA collaborative is the type that you would use for any of these types of placements. It's also defined on the right-hand side. LEA collaborative placements are instruction or tuition expenses at a public collaborative program or within a public school district other than the district fiscally responsible for that student. There's also, if you click on the links here for each of these placements, one new feature we have in fiscal 26 is this will bring you to the training module for that particular placement. So that might be very helpful as you're entering your claims. To enter the public placement, you want to select the circle to the left of out-of-district LEA collaborative, then scroll down and hit the next button on the right side. So this brings you to a new screen where you enter the LEA collaborative placement information. The first box, and very important, you have to fill in all the boxes that have red asterisks on them. The first box you come to is the LEA or collaborative program box. This lists all the LEA and collaboratives alphabetically. So this is a new feature we have this year as well in the system, and hopefully you'll find that helpful. One thing you can do is when you're in this box, you can use the search feature here to find the LEA or collaborative name you're looking for. And that's what we call a dynamic search. So what you would do is type the first few letters of the program or the LEA or collaborative that you're entering, and that'll bring up any matches with those letters. So we will demonstrate that when we go through Ron's placement. But once your program is populated, you fill in all the start and end dates. Go back to that again, sorry. And you have to put in the full calendar year here. On the placement type, there are 4 placement types available. Most commonly for collaborative or LEA placements, you would use day for school year, and you use summer for extended school year. For the annual rate, it's based on a 180-day program. So that's very, very important. You have to enter the full program rate. If you're entering an extended school year placement, you would just put in the actual cost of that placement for the extended school year. And make sure if you're entering a school year a summer placement, you choose, if for extended school year, you have to choose summer or the placement will not save. So anyways, we're going to go back into Ron's placement here. He attended bi-county collaborative, both extended school year and school year programs. So I'm going to use the dynamic search and type BI in. And you can see that brings up 4 options. And bi-county collaborative is one of them. I'm going to choose bi-county collaborative. And I'm going to enter the extended school year placement first. It started on 7/7/25, and you have to put the full year in order for that to work. You can also use the calendar function on the right-hand side. The placement ended on August 8th, 2025. Sorry, the screen is sensitive, but you can always go back into it. The placement type is summer, and you paid $10,000 for the extended school year program. So you're going to put $10,000 as the annual rate. The number of days of this program was 25. And there is a button here, is the student cost shared? In this case, he isn't. It's automatically set default to no. So I'm going to hit next. And you can see this has created the placement with the correct cost, our start and end dates. You can view the details by selecting this tab. But what I like to do is hit the refresh button at the top toolbar here. And then when you go to the bottom of the screen, the placement will populate on the bottom. And this is great to have because if you need to get into the placement to check on details or edit it, you can just do it through this particular option, and you would hit the placement number. And that brings up a details screen. And you can see that the total cost and the adjusted total cost is $10,000. That matches what you paid for that placement. And there's a lot of information on this screen. We'll go over that a bit later. So now I want to enter the school year placement. So to do that, I'm going to go back to the student claim, hit the placements page again, or placements option, I should say. And you would repeat the same process. You would hit the placement type and next, and then you have to enter all your information in again. Now, for the school year, Ron's school year tuition was $70,000. In addition, Bi-County Collaborative provided speech and language services for an additional $5,000. So as mentioned before, for collaborative placements, if the same collaborative is providing both the tuition and the speech and language services, you would add the cost together and enter the total cost as one placement. So again, when I go into the box for LEA or collaborative, I can use the dynamic search again, hit by county collaborative. The school year dates are September 5th, 2025 to June 18th, 2026. In this case, the placement type is day because this is a school year placement. And the annual rate, as we said, it's the total of the tuition, instructional cost, plus the speech and language services. So it's $75,000. The number of days is 180 because he attended the full year. He's not cost shared. And so now we can hit next. And this has created our placement. You can see the cost, $75,000. We have the dates here. And I'm going to hit the refresh button once more. And now you can see that both placements have populated at the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to go into this placement that we just created. And if I scroll down, you can see that the total cost and adjusted total cost matches what we paid. There's 180 days. The annual rate is here. And the system calculated the daily rate using the annual rate divided by the number of days to come up with $416.67. Also note that the placement has an issue status with a green check. So that means the placement has been successfully created and there are no pending error messages to clear. You can also look at, if you go up to the claim, you could also look at the Some SASID page by clicking Some SASID. And that also populates both placements that we've created. And this is another way to match what you've paid for a particular student. Note that the placement numbers are assigned by the claim system. So this is nothing you have control over. And additional placements for the student can be added by going back to the placements page. So now that we have Ron's placements in the system, if you want to change any data on an existing placement, just wanted to show you what you do. You can add it by going to the details screen for that placement. So right now we're in the student claim. So this has the details for the student claim. You want to hit the placements option and then call up the placement by hitting the placement number in the bottom left. And on this details page, anywhere you see a pencil icon, you can edit those fields. So if we had the wrong start or end dates or number of days or annual rate, we can change any of those fields. If you scroll down below, there's some information here that is applicable to other types of claims like the IPA and ISP. But if you scroll down towards the bottom, there's a section called cumulative credit. And those are for cumulative credits that are issued by collaboratives to its members. And we have a separate training module on cumulative credits. Okay, I want to go and test another student here. So I'm going to go back to the Pawnee claim and call up Albus Dumbledore. Albus is the second student listed here. I'm going to hit Albus's SASID number. And we're in Albus's student claim. So to add a placement, I'm going to hit the placements option again. And Albus attended SEAM Collaborative, but he did not start the program until January 15, 2026. He attended SEAM for 90 days. I'm going to create the placement. And using the dynamic feature, I'm going to start typing SEAM. And you can see when I type in SEE, brings up two options. I'm going to select SEAM. And the program code, the 8-digit code, is already listed as part of the collaborative. So you don't have to worry about that. And the start date in this case was January 15th, 2026. The end date is 6/18, 2026. It's a school year placement, so the placement type is day. The annual rate is what you paid. And again, remember that the annual rate should be for the full cost of the program. But you paid $60,000 for him to attend for 90 days. I'm just going to put $60,000 in here for now. Is the annual rate. The number of days is 90. It's not cost shared. So you want to hit the next button. And see what happened. It created the placement, but the total cost of the placement is only $30,000. Because remember, the annual rate is based on 180 days. So basically, it took 90 over 180 times 60,000, and that's half the year, to come up with $30,000. So you shortchanged yourself if you listed 60,000 as the annual rate. SEAM is charging the district a daily rate of $666.66. So what we need to do is edit this placement. So again, what we're going to do is call up the plate. I'm going to refresh this just to have the placement on the bottom. And that'll confirm that the cost is only $30,000, as you can see here. Call up the placement number. And this is where the edit function is very helpful. In order to correct this, I'm going to put in the correct full annual rate for 180 days, sorry, of $120,000. So you hit the pencil icon and you just go backwards, put in 120,000, and then you have to hit the save button at the bottom. Once you do that, you can see that that changed the daily rate to the correct rate that we were charged. And the adjusted total cost is $60,000, which is what you paid for the placement. And that's confirmed up on top for this placement here. So be very careful if you're claiming LEA and collaborative placements, particularly for a partial school year. We thank you very much for listening to this training. If you have any questions, please contact your circuit breaker liaison, and good luck with your claims.